Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We are live on day 3.
Good morning.
Good morning. Also, I know we're going to invite 2 panelists on stage pretty soon who are going to have a serious good morning because it is 2 a.m. in their morning. So welcome. We are really excited about today. This is our last day, so we've got an action-packed day. We've got about an hour and a half, and afterwards some roundtables. On stage is obviously Ashley, and then Kev. Kev, any highlights from yesterday? I know yesterday you ran a roundtable on Google, Microsoft concurrently. What stood out for you yesterday?
Yesterday was really cool, Pete. What we did was, the things that stood out was first Gillian, our speaker. I really enjoyed him. He speaks very well, and what he says, I think, hit home. So it was an awesome chat by him. And then I really liked the solar panel labs. That idea was great. I liked that. And then the round table was probably my favorite because it was a little bit smaller, and people could ask more questions related to them. So it was quite interactive. I really enjoyed it. It was quite cool.
Brilliant. That's awesome. So today, Ashley, I know you are hosting our main, after our first set of speakers, you are hosting our classroom chat. Leo, what can schools expect?
So Davis has gone through this major overhaul of their, pretty much everything from their bottom end kind of foundational infrastructure all the way through to the pedagogy of how they kind of look at IT, teach robotics and that. So Leo Steg, who's done all of this in the last 2 years and gone through the process, is going to just come and speak on how they've done it, each little step from how they got teacher engagement on it to how they chose companies. So if you're looking for an overhaul of your school or where to start, this is going to be a great session from a school that has done it. Going to be super practical. We're excited for you to ask questions, so we're excited about that session. Yeah, don't miss it.
Brilliant. And then also just a shout out, we have realized that a large amount of the schools out there are actually streaming afterwards. We're just looking at the stats, about a third are watching live, and actually 2/3 are watching post, if not possibly even more. So if you are streaming later in the day, thank you, welcome. It's fantastic to have you live with us. And then we have a poll that's running at the moment, which actually ties in really well with our next chat, and it's on cybersecurity, the challenges you are facing. I've been reading through some of the results and having a good laugh to myself because I think all schools are facing the same thing. My favorite was, how do you prevent teachers from downloading movies when they should be focusing on the kids' content? And then WhatsApp chats, there's a lot. So we're going to get into that shortly. But before we do that, just a reminder that Promethean is giving away a 75-inch screen. It was demoed yesterday. It is absolutely amazing. And that could be hanging in your classroom or in your school. Sadly, that you can't take home. You have to keep it in school. So how you enter, it's very simply on your mobile app. You literally pop onto the exhibitors. There's actually a passport button. It's even easier. Go on, check out the exhibitors. All you have to do is like them, have a comment, ask them a question, say hi. It can be simple as that, and then enter their deals, which basically means you start in a conversation with them. And please also remember, the aim of this is we've chosen incredible companies out there that can actually help you. So I know a lot of you might be going, I don't really want to do it. There could be a company there that could actually help you moving forward in your school. So all of them are doing amazing things with schools. But I think that is enough from me.
You know what I want to say is we have some also sneaky other prizes we're going to give away in the prize giving later. So, and we're going to be drawing that out of those deal buttons, the deal and offer buttons. So if you haven't gone on and click deal and offer, which is just, it's literally a button like Pete said, start a conversation. Go on to our incredible exhibitors, click the deal and offer button, and that automatically enters you into winning some really nice things like 1,500 Rands worth of my favorite Springfield Sauvignon Blanc. So guys, we've got lots of cool prizes for later.
Anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's a really good one.
Really good one.
And I know SonicWall, part of our poll, is giving away a R1,000 voucher. So we're going to do a prize giving at the end of this morning session. Digital Generation has also got a R1,000 Take-A-Lot voucher. Good thing with the vouchers is you get to take those home.
They're for you, teachers and headmasters and IT managers.
Cool. All right, everyone. I am going to intro our next two speakers, and then I'm going to ask that Kevin hosts this because it's to do with some of these security challenges. And I know Kevin and I were chatting about it before, just, you know, even just thinking about your schools and how do you get teachers and pupils, etc., different groups. There's a lot. How do you know what to stream, not what to stream? So we're going to dive into a session now, and then we're going to do a roundtable discussion after the prize giving. Maybe Holly and Lauren, you can actually jump on screen. They might be able to stick around. So Holly and Lauren have, as far as I know, it is 2:30 a.m. in the US. Have I got that right?
Well, I'm in Vegas. So hello. Hi, everyone. So it's actually only 12:37. So we're doing good. It's early for Vegas.
Yeah, it's just getting started. I'm in Phoenix, so I'm just a little jump away from Holly, and I'm in Phoenix, and it's 12:30 here also.
Okay, all right. So not too bad. That's fine. So by way of, what have I done?
Your video.
Oh, sorry, I stopped my video. Amazing what you do when you click the wrong button. So on screen with us is Holly and Lauren. So Lauren is head of director of global competitive programs at SonicWall. Basically, he has deep insights into what's happening worldwide with security. That's his job. It's understanding it, and more importantly, how to solve it. And then Holly has been in business development and literally Ruckus Wireless, Nextel, Sprint, ShoreTel, Oracle, all of the major players she has been involved with. So what she brings to the party is big level thinking that can apply directly to a school. So as much as they come with this massive corporate experience, they actually know how to drill it down for your school. So they're going to be sharing some stats. Kev will stay on and ask them any questions at the end if we've got some time. But Holly, Lauren, thank you. The screen is yours.
All right, sharing screen right now. And we are sharing. All right, can you see my screen?
Absolutely.
Yes. Got it.
Fantastic. So really just want to say thank you for having us. This is a thrill to be here and be able to talk about cybersecurity, things that are happening around the globe, and to be able to share our perspective. And once again, the folks that you're talking to today, and I need to advance my slide, is myself, Lauren Wiggy. I'm the Director of Global Competitive Programs here at SonicWall, and I'm thrilled to have Holly Davis with me. Now, Holly is my trusted advisor, or SonicWall's trusted advisor, everything SLED. And what I mean by SLED, it's state, local, and education. Holly is a true expert, global expert on the topic, and helps guide us through the different things that are happening out there across the landscape. So thrilled to have Holly here. And actually, Holly's going to kick this off for us. And Holly, if you'd like, I can advance to the next slide unless you have anything you'd like to say right here.
No, that's great. Thank you. I appreciate
Perfect.
it. Happy to be here as well. All right. So some of the things that I'd like to talk to you all today are just kind of giving you a very nice look at the landscape globally. I actually did a little research too as well to make sure that I could give y'all some comparative information in looking at what's going on in the United States as opposed to what maybe y'all are seeing happening in South Africa. I thought these would be kind of cool little anecdotes that would help y'all kind of realize that you're not alone. All of your struggles that you're having, we're having them in the US, and they're having them all over the country. If I had more time, I would love to be able to talk about what each individual countries are doing. There's some really innovative and unique things that I'm seeing happening around the globe. But it's really, more today for my time's sake, I'm going to try and focus a little bit more on what I think y'all are seeing happening in your world. You're living that real time. And then I can give you some information on what's happening in the United States. So, it's really interesting because I heard one of the things or points that was just made by Peter that we're talking about the some of the challenges, right? That were in that poll. And one of those challenges that I heard was, funding, right? How do you secure your network when you have to take the network from being on campus and it now has to be delivered in the community? That's really big challenge in a lot of ways. And most importantly, a lot of things that you forget that you need to secure or that you need to do to protect not only your network, but you got to protect the child. You need the funding to do that. And so in the United States, it's interesting how it is set up. So you have what we call the Department of Education, as y'all know. And then in most countries across that are international, they typically call it the Ministry of Education. And so in our country, in the United States, the Department of Education at a federal level will handle funding that it will drive down and help, especially during this crisis. There was actually a little over $30 billion that is being allocated to try and help with that technology remote learning initiative that's taking place right now. The challenge is that we're very decentralized in the United States. So maybe this will kind of help relate to what you experience even in South Africa, is that when I say decentralized, it's one thing for the government layer at the federal level to say, we're going to push out this much money that we're going to put into grants and help fund the technology that's necessary for getting that campus e-learning environment out to the community. The second challenge that happens then is that every state in the United States has their own process and ways of how they disseminate or get that money out into their schools. And a lot of times the decision making for those schools happens specifically at a county or what we call a school district level. So like what we call K-12 in the United States, you would call like your primary or secondary education. So it's very interesting to think about how that funding is a big part of how you try and help solve this problem. I also noted that it was interesting that something happened a few years ago in the United States where we realized the infrastructure was failing. So in 2015 in the US, they decided that they were going to do an overhaul, right? And set aside specific amounts of money that were going to fund building that infrastructure that was kind of fallen apart from a internet service provider perspective. More importantly, we've grown into a world of Wi-Fi. And a lot of our schools, believe it or not, back in 2015, were still on dial-up. So knowing that we had to have equitable learning and provide this even to underserved communities in our country, they created a program which you may or may not heard of called E-Rate. So E-Rate is the mechanism in the past that would help fund building that campus infrastructure to include things like their security, servers, wireless access point, anything that you think of that goes into the network and designing that network and building it out on campus. What happened though is then COVID happened and nobody was expecting that to be as much of a challenge as they are facing in the United States. And I know a lot of people will probably be shocked to hear this, but there is about 14% of the US that does not have internet access in their home. Neither do they have a platform in which to work on. So they don't have a laptop, they don't have a tablet. Typically Chromebooks are very popular in the United States. So that became an instant challenge when in March, everyone was told, go home, go figure it out, go figure out how to do remote learning. And that wonderful program I mentioned that was built to fund technology in the classroom called E-Rate no longer can apply when you're now taking a funding mechanism for on campus. You now have to figure out how to provide that connectivity in the community. So with those challenges in comparison to what I saw is happening in South Africa, 60% of the homes from what I understand don't have internet connectivity, or half of those that have that internet connectivity in South Africa actually are by the phone or internet connection. So a lot of challenges there that are even greater than what the United States is facing. You know, when you look at a 14% to a 60%. But the way I look at it, this digital divide is very real. And we have such a challenge that COVID has brought to light, where even in the communities that are not underserved, that are not impoverished, Remote learning is definitely a challenge. It's a challenge for those students to have to learn how to be patient and understand the streaming and the technology and not lose their engagement because they've lost their focus, especially at the younger age level. But even for the teachers, having to learn how you're going to do instruction and build a new platform of way to provide the instruction. But then the even greater challenges that you're going to hear Lauren talk about. Lauren's going to give you a lot of really cool information on some interesting things that have happened with firewall protections that aren't there, that are necessary to protect all these different learning platforms that schools are using all across the world. So I think you're going to find some of that really, really entertaining and interesting at the same time. So one of the things, I think you can see even from my slide here, there's inequality in all of these challenges that we're seeing all across the globe. And because some of them are really, some countries are very challenged by the fact of not having that internet connectivity, what we're seeing is that they are actually going down a path of even trying to do their learning on setting up curriculum on televisions and doing the TV route. But it's really not the type of instruction for e-learning that you need. We need to find a way to make this e-learning instruction better and make it secure and safe. Just part of the Sustainable Development Guide, and I believe it's the goal 4 by 2030 on really helping for equitable learning in South Africa. Same thing we have here in our challenges of what we're trying to overcome. And we have a goal of 2024 for the US and no longer having those 14% that are not connected. Lauren, my second slide, please. Thank you. So here's just a slide, and I'm just going to touch on this briefly, then I'm going to actually pass the baton to Lauren. But I wanted to talk about what are some things you should be thinking about. And I know that many of you are, but I spend a lot of my time not only talking to manufacturers of technology, but I also spend a lot of my time talking to schools. And we at Complement try to go and find innovative technologies and bring really unique, innovative ideas on how to overcome some of these challenges. And a lot of times in the past, we did it for helping from a campus infrastructure. Now I'm trying to help all of our clients in all of our schools really overcome these challenges that are happening out in the community. So a couple of really cool things to think about is now you've given some type of device and platform in which that student is going to work on. How do you prevent things that are going to be coming and happening, like the hackers that get on there and all of a sudden you have porn? Oh my gosh, right? So those things are happening in the United States, and I know they're happening everywhere. There's some other crazy things that are happening that Lauren's going to tell you, and I won't steal his thunder there. But you've got to think about all the ways and different things you have to protect. And I know, like, we have the Children's Internet Protection Act here in the United States. You have some very similar types of things that you have in place in South Africa that are very important for protecting that student and giving them that equitable learning experience, but not taking away all of those different platforms in which they can learn in that learning remote environment. So you can see all the different things that go into play. You think about the stuff on campus that you have to protect. If you're backhauling, all of your traffic is going to come back through the campus, and then going to make sure that that protection is there. Some other things too is securing those wireless access points. Think about having it actually at that endpoint as a way to secure the network. And there's some other cool things I'll just tell you real quick. We have a lot of schools that just have these assets. They're school buses sitting in what we call their school barn. And when they're sitting there, they're not doing anything. They're not transporting students. So one of the things that they're doing is they're putting some antennas, like a wireless access point, on a bus, and they're taking them out to the community, and they're parking them in communities and moving them throughout the day on a schedule so that the school can have it in 2 hours in one section of the community that's underserved and then move it to another. There's not only putting the wireless access point on the bus and then having that access point secured is important, but you could also put an antenna on top of it. There's a really cool technology out there that does 360-degree array of an antenna, and you can cover up to 16 what we would call football fields. You might refer to it as football, which is our soccer. but those are some of the really cool, innovative things that are happening. We're seeing great success with the mobile bus. Even schools that don't have enough learning devices are actually putting carts that they normally would roll into a classroom onto the bus and deploying them into the community when they move the bus into that community. Now, all this is great. It's awesome. I hear all the time from school districts that are going out there and getting their funding, and they're able to put, get that learning technology, whether it's whatever type of platform that you want to use, such as we have today, we're using Zoom. But then now I have schools calling me going, oh my gosh, I did not think about all these cloud apps and all these different things that they're going to. How do we protect the students? We're getting hacked. What about ransomware and all the other different challenges that they face? And so it's really important when you start thinking about laying out what your remote learning infrastructure is going to look like. You really want to make sure that you think about all the different weird anomalies that can happen and the challenges that you face as a school on protecting that student and protecting the teacher plus your network. No one wants ransomware. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Lauren, and thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Holly. Well, first of all, you should probably know a little bit about the company you're talking with. SonicWall, we've been in business for 28 years, safeguarding organizations across the globe. Today's new normal of ever increasing remote, mobile, cloud workforces, they really require a lot of flexibility and ease of use. Boundless cybersecurity empowers organizations to break free of untetherable economic, technical, and safety or staffing constraints of traditional networks. Awesome thing about SonicWall, 1.1 million sensors globally, 215 countries and territories served, naturally 24/7, 365 monitoring, and we have less than 24-hour threat response. Now, a little bit more about SonicWall's history in South Africa. Now, we've been in South Africa for 21 years. We use Loophole Security Distribution. They supply our partners across South Africa. Now, SonicWall is a channel-based company. We sell through the channel, which means Loophole distributes our product, but we have a wide array of other partners that actually sell and implement our product. Now, we have a strong footprint in education, insurance, and government in South Africa. Now, I'm going to let this slide build out, and then I'm going to talk about it a little bit because there's a lot of interesting things here. Now, there is a worldwide shortage of people in the cybersecurity workforce. Top two factors contributing to security incidents are lack of training and lack of staff. The PwC Global Economic Crime Fraud Survey found that over 1/4 of South African respondents believe cybercrime will be the most disruptive, impactful crime faced over the next 2 years. Now, in South Africa, this problem is compounded because those people who get trained typically don't stay because they get recruited away to another global organization. And then we're back to having to retrain and restart the entire process. Now, SonicWall, we have our Capture Labs threat team. They put together a threat report twice a year. We recap what we've seen on the threat landscape. I'm going to talk about some of our findings the first half of 2020. You can find all of this information and more in the 2020 SonicWall Cyber Threat Report at www.sonicwall.com/threat report. Had to put in my plug there. So let's talk a little bit more about what we found. Now, malware, the overall volume of malware dropped 24% over the first half of 2020. And this is a downward continuation that we saw from last November. Now, there's a lot of regional differences out there in how the malware has dropped across the globe. Like United States, for example, has dropped 24%, where India has actually dropped 64%. Now, less malware doesn't mean a safer cyber world, not at all. Ransomware has spiked in the same time period. Now, ransomware continues to be the most concerning threat to organizations across the globe, and it's a preferred tool for cyber criminals. It's increased 20% globally the first half. So this is on the rise. It's more specific and it's more targeted, which is kind of interesting. We see kind of an ebb and flow of malware across the globe. And I'll show you more stats on that in just a little bit. But another thing that it's really creating a difficulty for our network administrators are, since COVID, we went from having our networks where we could control them. We had them in our office. We had that network controlled. That network perimeter has now exploded. The network perimeter now goes from the organization to the home or to whatever that remote location is. So networks are kind of overwhelmed by the threat landscape, the threat surface that they're dealing with right now. Some more interesting facts. Phishing. 7% of phishing attacks capitalize on COVID-19. 90% of the malware is delivered via email. Statistically, 1 in 200 emails is a phishing attempt. Well, I just got phished probably 10 times in the last 15 minutes then, because that's how many emails fly in for me. Now, COVID has complicated the supply chain and trust. Transactions that would typically be made in person are happening through email or some other online communication. I have an interesting story I want to tell you about a company. Well, I'm going to leave the names out, okay? But it's about being vulnerable in this new age of COVID. There's a populous region of Germany, okay? The government made a $2.6 million purchase of 110 face masks for COVID. They sent a 50 vehicle convoy from Germany over to Netherlands to pick up their masks. Well, when they got there were no masks available. The interesting thing about this is, here's how this all laid out. The cyber criminals cloned a Dutch company's information and through an intermediary in Ireland registered a fake website in Spain, okay? It took a team of investigators across 3 countries to figure out this scheme. And thankfully, they were able to stop the first $500,000 installment payment from being processed in Nigeria. So cyber criminals are global. They have a global machine and they're able to bounce things all around. So Microsoft Office, organizations are really dependent on Office, and it's a great productivity tool. And it's hard to be online and do things or actually work without some type of productivity suite like Microsoft Office. Now, SonicWall threat researchers found that we saw an increase of 176% in new malware attacks disguised as a trusted Microsoft Office file type. Now, SonicWall also discovered that 22% of those Microsoft Office files and 11% of those PDF files made up 33% of the overall malware in 2020. So we're seeing cyber criminals going after Microsoft and cloning that, using that information. Why? That's where the people are at. People are using it. So that's where the criminals go. They always go to where the people are. Now, IoT, this isn't a big surprise, but you have to think about this. IoT malware increased 50% the first half of this year. The interesting thing about the IoT malware is that, again, as those perimeters of organizations have expanded, and it now goes from that perimeter and it can go into a home, think about the other things that are happening on that home network or even in that company network. We have coffee makers that hook up to the internet now, refrigerators, cameras, doorbells, all this stuff. All this stuff creates a potential vulnerability in that expanded perimeter. So it's something to think about, something to be very aware of, and make sure that we understand that unchecked or unsecured IoT devices, it's like an open door for criminals to come in and walk into the network. So it's very, very important to understand that.
Yeah, Lauren.
Yes, sir.
Thanks. We are running short on time. If you don't mind, could you maybe give us a couple minutes here, just wrap up a little bit for us, and then I just want to introduce the people to the roundtable that you guys are having later as well.
Absolutely. And people at the roundtable, you're going to get a couple more slides. I got to jump to. I had a lot of stuff to share. Let me start right here, guys. This is the architecture that I'm going to recommend for schools, okay? Whether it be a school district with multiple schools in that district, whether it be a single school, whether it be a school that has 10 students or 10,000 students, we want you to take a look at SonicWall. Why? SonicWall has reassembly-free deep packet inspection. This is patented technology. It scans every port every time. Why is this important? 23% of the malware that came into, that we identified in 2020 came through non-standard ports. Beautiful thing about SonicWall is we scan everything all the time. So there's no such thing as a non-scan port on a SonicWall. Other firewalls don't have this technology. It's important to know that. Now, again, standard ports, 25 for SMTP, which is email, port 80 for HTTPS, and then port 443 for web traffic. There's 40,000 ports on a firewall. So we need to make sure that we're protected that way. SonicWall scans everything. Now, sandboxing. We've all heard about sandboxing technology. SonicWall has capture advanced threat protection with real-time deep memory inspection. Not a normal sandbox, okay? We have the hypervisor visualization, analyzation as far as sandboxes go, but then we have DP, which is RTD API, which is our other engine that helps go through this traffic. On average, a SonicWall customer experiences 12,000 malware attacks on the first half of 2020. Capture ATP with RTDMI captured 315,000 of those new threats, roughly 1,700 a day. And to break this down, when you put in RTDMI, we stop 62% more malware than a traditional sandbox. That's 121,000 or 700 new threats a day we stopped with RTDMI. Why SonicWall? High security efficacy, low total cost of ownership. We have a solution, whether it be wireless, firewall, remote access, client. We can help you, and we're here to help with education. It's a passion of ours.
I think, Lauren, I just want, no, don't stress. No, it's a lot of information, and actually, that's on that point. The roundtable that we're having at the end, I think, when people look at this, they must also understand that we're not all technical. So you guys are able to dub it down to the level that we need to understand it at. So Holly and Lauren, thank you so much. Thank you for waking up or staying awake until so late or so early. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing you guys later. I'll be in the roundtable as well with Pete. So if people want to ask questions, we're going to encourage that. Thanks, Pete.
Awesome. So yeah, so Lauren and Holly, what we're going to do is we'll send you the link. I don't think you have it yet for your roundtable. Don't worry. We'll send you that now. But I think, as Kevin said, what we really want to do is try and take a couple of these topics and help the school understand. Like some of the stuff that we had coming in was like, how do you stop the teacher from downloading the movies? How do you know if Google streaming is good stuff or bad stuff, and is there a solution for it? WhatsApp groups, is there any way you can stop the kids sharing on WhatsApp groups? So I think Lauren and Holly will get into some detail, but I think there might be some really good questions. And the nice thing about the round table is you can actually then, attendees can actually ask questions. So that will be set up for about 11:40 South Africa time. So in about an hour and 30 minutes or so for Lauren and Holly, but we'll send you the link. So Lauren, Holly, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And Lauren, we love your background there. I had to mention it. Cool. I am now going to say cheers, but we'll see you later. Lauren, Holly, thank you.
Thank you very much
for having us. Thank you.
So
See you at the round table.
Thank you.
Next up, I'm going to hand over to Ash, who is going to introduce our next speaker. And this one's I'm really excited to, just because I've had a couple of chats with Leo. So Leo is there. He's coming on stage now.
Bring Leo on stage. So yeah, we're really excited about this session. Leo is where's Leo? There's Leo. There we go. He's doing magic tricks where he walks through the back of his bookshelf. So none of that today. But yeah, Leo is the IT director and coding and robotics teacher at St. David's Morris in Dolan. How do I say that? In Dolan.
In Nanda.
In Dolan. I need the American accent in saying it. In Santon, Gauteng. So yeah, Leo holds master's degrees in multiple qualifications from Microsoft to a Google certified trainer. And yeah, he's really just quite an inspiring guy that loves IT. And that had this big picture. I almost want to say dream, except that he's accomplished the dream. So now what next? But this big picture plan on how to overhaul and reform St. David's sort of entire IT infrastructure network, right down to their pedagogy of how they actually approach and teach robotics. So he's going to just share this journey with us today. He's going to give us some real good practical handles on where to start, on how to begin, and where to go from where you are at right now. But I think before I let Leo kick off, what I do want to say is that I think it's appropriate to note that we know that not all schools have the capacity, have the funding to completely redo and overhaul your whole IT sector, even though this would probably be your dream as well. But what I can glean from Leo's experience is that he knew where to start. He knew how to get the teachers on board. He knew how to get the powers that be to fund it. And his story is really great because it's filled with passion and handles and tips on where to begin, where to next, which service providers did he go with. So it's very much South African, it's very much practical for us. So we're going to jump in, Leo. And so, Leo, good morning. Thank you for being here with us.
Morning, Ashley. Thanks for the intro.
Yeah, why don't you kick off? Tell us what this big picture network upgrade, where did it start? How did you get involved with St. David's? And then, I would love to hear your story.
Cool. So I'll try and keep it short and sweet. I've got a little PowerPoint show which I'll go through with everyone as well. But in a nutshell, I've got a corporate background. So I'm a Durban boy. I'm a KZN boy. So Joburg was quite a culture shock for myself, but we've settled in quite nicely over the last 2.5 years. But I started my career in the IT, in the school sector with Clifton Prep School on Nottingham Road under Brendan Brady. And I learned a lot about what schools needed and how they're using technology. And when I took up the post 2 years ago at St. David's, it was quite a big challenge because when I arrived at St. David's, there was very limited wireless. I couldn't even connect myself. Most of the staff were using 3G or 4G, to get onto the internet. So it was a bit of a challenge. So, in a nutshell, I had to start from scratch. I had to consider how I was going to take St. David's out of where they were and put them where they are now. So I'll share my screen with you guys and I'll talk you through the process. So this is, start that up, there we go. All right, so this is my big picture. This is big picture thinking, and it's very broad. And by all means, this is a Q&A session. So if you have any questions, you guys must just ask. But you'll see right at the very top, I've got my grade 1s to 3s, my grade 4s to 7s, grades 8 to 9, and grade 10 to 12. And you'll see there's a little green circle between the grade 4 and 7 and the grade 8 to 9. And I discovered very early on that there was no way for children coming out of the prep space into the college space where they had any sort of IT anything. They didn't even have in grade 6 and 7 IT sessions. They had nothing. All right, so that was my first sort of challenge. How do I get these kids now into grade 8 where they were doing Arduinos and robotics? These poor grade 7s were coming out of a no technology sort of solution, in the prep space. Then you'll see I've broken it down into little squares or into little lines where you can see grade 1 to 3, we've got iPad minis, and in grade 3, we're now introducing Chromebooks. Last year, we introduced Chromebooks from the start of last year for all our grade 4s to 7s, as well as we have an IT lab. And then in grade 8 to 9, it's a BYOD with an IT lab, and we have laptops as well that we give the kids. And then grade 10 to 12, it's also bring your own device with IT labs. And there you can see in grade 5, just underneath it, I've introduced Minecraft for education from grade 5. So grade 5, 6, and 7, we do Minecraft education. It was new, they'd never done this, they hadn't seen this. A couple of the staff
Here, I feel like we've lost Leo for a second there.
Maybe Google's down as well there.
He's obviously not at his school because his school has 110% coverage. So I said to him, just make sure that you don't say that you have 110% coverage and then you fall off the map with us.
He's definitely not at school. He's probably working from home today.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, it's just as we take a minute to get Leo back on stage now. I think I think what he's talking about here is so essential for us to hear, because I think many of your schools are sitting in the position of grade 4 to grade 7, where there isn't necessarily anything happening, any coding and robotics happening. And so we're excited to see that there's so many companies in that out there that are providing great solutions, very, very low cost solutions to get this kind of activity going in your schools. I can think of.
Can I ask a question on that? Kev, let's make this practical. Schools want to hear about schools. How are you doing this at Faramir?
Okay, so what we did is very similar to what Leo was doing. I also, strangely enough, started at a new school in Feb. And the same sort of thing, they didn't have much of anything. The staff didn't have Wi-Fi. So it is definitely about changing the mindset of management first. And you can only do that if you've got a good plan. So you've got to put stock and thought into the plan that you want. So see where you guys want to go. What do you want to do with your grade 1s? What do you want to do with your grade 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s? And when they leave, if it's a primary school and they're going from grade 7 to high school, you need to talk to the high schools and ask the high schools, what are you guys doing? What are you expecting from the kids when they get to you in terms of tech specifically? And then you'll find a lot of them will say, well, can they sign in? Do they know how to reset a password? Those basic kind of things. So someone like Leo, what he's done here, and it's super challenging. I think if you're in his position, then you'd understand how challenging. And it's even more challenging if you're in the public sector. But I think I've seen on the app here, Pete, there's a lot of people asking.
Yeah, let's get into it. Ask some questions.
Yeah, there's a lot of people asking. So, for example, they were asking. I know that we actually had Holly and them before this. They were asking a couple of questions about SonicWall and that welcome address. And I think we get lost with the companies. The schools, sometimes we think, oh, you're just trying to push a product, and you kind of switch off, and that's dangerous to do. You shouldn't switch off. You should really listen to what they're saying, because they work with so many schools. And you can always approach them. So I find a lot of the time, what I used to do is a company would give me a quote, and then I'd be like, that's unaffordable, switch off, and then I'd move on. And it's actually the wrong way. You should go back to the company and say, look, I can't afford this. This is where we want to go, though. Because then they can kind of bring it down and say, okay, we can help here, or we can help here. Or why don't you start in sections? Do this section first, and then this section. But if you come with a plan, and you've got a plan, and you can give them that plan, they can help you. And you can also approach other companies and say, I don't have a plan. Where do I go from here? And that's why this platform is good. You can jump into a group. You can ask someone that, which I would encourage. It's helped me.
Cool. Kev, it looks like we have our missing speaker back. But I think what you're saying is very practical. I think it's actually something important just for schools to know, like, how do you actually just deal with the suppliers? I'm going to let all the schools in on a secret, because I've been on the supplier side before doing this event. Suppliers are desperate for your business. They want to do business with you because schools are incredible clients. You are great clients. You always pay. You've got
long-term, faithful relationships.
So yes. I think there's a lot. But I'm going to jump back off because we have our speaker back, Leah. I'm glad you are back.
Leah, I must say, I had to joke. I had to say, you're definitely not at your school with your 110% coverage and 7 lines coming in.
Yeah, no, we just suddenly got load shedded. We were only supposed to be load shedded at 4 p.m. So everything just went dead. So
not a problem. I think, Leo, you can jump back into explaining where you're at. I think one of the things I loved in our discussion beforehand, Leo, was your approach to how you approach the teaching staff, to kind of say, what do you need? What do you want? Those conversations. So if after you go through that, if you can touch on that approach, because I know that many IT managers like Kevin would have started at a new school and they have all these big dreams and they were employed to do a job and they're hit with grave amounts of resistance. So yeah, I mean, fill us in there.
All right, I will do. So I'll just go through this very quickly so I don't keep you guys too long. So that's the big picture thinking. You'll see at the very bottom.
If you want to share your screen again, Leo, you're gonna have to share.
Oh, sorry, right. Of course, that might help. Here we go. Oops, sorry. Share. There we go.
Awesome. There we go.
Okay, we got it. Cool. So yeah, so at the very bottom, I've got a big thick black line with a big green arrow and a little star next to the IT infrastructure, backbone, and access. So I had to fix that first. And after that, I had to put a support team in place to manage this whole upgrade, which is my technical, and I had some academic staff that are involved. Because essentially at St. David's, there's just two of us. It's myself, IT director, and James Rogers, who's the technical guy. He's my help desk guy. There's only the two of us that run our entire IT. There are 1,400 kids, 250 staff. It's just two of us. And then underneath that, you'll see staff training, which is ongoing. It's informative specific. It's on site. Well, in this case with COVID, a lot of it has been remote. So I'll jump to the next slide. Let's go. You'll see here, this is essentially how I've broken it up into three wings at St. David's. We've got our technical and our help desk. So myself, as IT director, I make sure that everything runs from a big picture point of view. Then I employed the services of Caribou Networks. Caribou, a Durban-based company. They are essentially my cloud network and systems administrators. And then I've got Console, who we've also got a service level agreement with. And they were part of the upgrade process, a very big part of our upgrade process, where they put in our wireless and put in all our new equipment, our Dell switches and so on. And then we've got James, who runs our help desk. In terms of the help desk, James makes sure that he assists all the students with their logins, assists the staff, general queries, just standard good old-fashioned help desk with the support of Caribou. Then I've got an academic wing. So these are teachers that are involved with teaching IT in the school and using IT. And then I've got Bruce. You'll see I've got Bruce, a separate little place here. So Bruce Isles, I love Bruce. He's got a lot of energy, and he heads up our ICE department or our ICE team. And he bounces between the prep and the college. He's got a lot of energy. So if anybody needs help with anything regarding Google or this is now the pedagogical stuff, Bruce gets involved there. So he supports our senior primary and our college space. And then I've got my champions. Basically, a lot of schools have got like 4 or 5, I don't know, lots of IT people in their space. And they're all sitting around waiting for something to do. What I had to look at is I had to say, well, I've just got me and I've got James, there's 2 of us. I've got Caribou, who provide our cloud support. And then I've got my staff. So I had to find champions in my staff who were keen, were willing, who were IT literate, that were going to take up the reins and provide assistance with Google Classroom setup, assisting other staff in the classroom with the technology, sharing ideas, concepts. And that has made my life and all the staff's life a whole lot easier. Getting staff involved, getting them on board, making them champions. And then, of course, it was also training. So what I did when I started at St. David's was I went to every single staff member right at the beginning. So Mike Teal sat me down and he said, listen, you've got some time, figure out what we've got to do at St. David's. So I did that. I took 3 months. And I went to every single staff member right across the campus. I sat with them. I asked them, what were they doing with IT? How were they doing it? What was working? What wasn't working? What would they like to have working? And of course, the big thing was, well, it would be nice if we could get on the wireless. And when we get on the wireless, it would be nice to have wireless maybe on the fields or in the quad or in certain areas of the school where we didn't have wireless at the time, just so we can go and do stuff outdoors. So I took all of this information, put a nice report together. Then I went to the heads of departments, to the heads of subjects, and I asked them the same questions. And although their answers were slightly different, because they thought that certain things were being done regarding IT in the classrooms where they weren't, I was able to feed that back. I was able to, the man on the ground is very important. They're the people that are using this technology or not using it or want to use it. So at least I had a lot of information to go back to the heads of subjects and heads of departments. And I said, look, this is what your staff say. This is the truth. Yeah, here it is. This is what they're saying. I took that then to management. So we have a joint management forum. I went through the joint management forum and I said, look, this is your feedback from your staff. What do you guys have to input? So it was a long, slow process trying to figure out what the problem was. And then I had to fix it. And that was the real challenge. There were two sides to this. The one was getting the network up and running properly, fixing the network, putting in a proper network. And there was only one way to do that, was to do a complete rip and replace. When I say rip and replace, I mean that literally. We took out every single access point, we took out every single switch, we took out all the old fiber, all the old cat cabling, and we threw it away. We put it in a corner.
My question is why?
We left it there.
Why the whole rip and replace? What did you see the need for it to be to really take out the old infrastructure, and what did you replace it with?
So, as schools know, many headmasters are here, and they're feeling the pain. When IT came into the schools 10, 15 years, 10 years, 5 years, however many years ago you decided to put IT in, it was always, well, we've got an internet line and we've got an admin office and we need to connect our admin because, we need to connect them. Oh, we need to put a classroom on. Oh, we've got an IT lab. And so that's how schools evolve their IT, right? Unless you're a Curro or one of those bigger schools that have got lots of money, you kind of do it in dribs and drabs. And that was the same, no different to when I started at Clifton. It was a dribs and drabs, and we did a big upgrade in 2008, also with console, where we put in ruckus and we put in new switching fabrics, we put in new firewalls and new servers, and we did a whole server upgrade. And that was awesome. It put Clifton on the map from an IT point of view. And I had to do the same with St. David's, because you can't take little bit, and upgrade there and do it slowly. You can't do it slowly. You have to do the upgrade one time. You have to replace the fiber. You have to replace your switches. You can't, 3 years later buy another type of switch here and another type of wireless here. And you can't just do it in piecemeal. Well, we couldn't at St. David's. The network was so old and had been done, it's hard to say, you come in and you want to upgrade and you say, well, we can either do it in little bits and we can spend $500,000 here or $1 million there and we can replace that part of the network. The problem was at St. David's is that even though they had a 350 meg a Bitco line, they were only getting about 200 megs internet breakout for over 1,600 people. Now you do some maths and you work that backwards. Well, it just doesn't work. So there were bottlenecks in the network, and the bottlenecks are exactly that. It's the old upgrades. It's this part of the school. It's that part of the school. The only way to fix that for us at St. David's, at least, was to throw it all out. Was to say, right, we just got to pull this all out. So I got Console in. Console are brilliant. These guys, they do the Vodacom backbone. And we all, a lot of us use Vodacom and MTN and whatever. And so these are the big boys. These are the players. These are the big guys. They came in. They had a look. They listened to what I wanted. They listened to the ideas that I had. Same as what we did at Clifton. We wanted wireless everywhere. We didn't want just wireless in the library, the CAT center, the hall. We wanted wireless for the entire campus. 110% wireless access. So even if you're driving down Rivonia Road, and you can do this anytime you like, drive down Rivonia Road, past St. David's gates, you'll see my wireless is active, as it is for a lot of schools that have got proper wireless. And that's what.
This is 20 hectares, am I correct?
Yeah, we got a big campus.
So is it like a challenge now for someone they can sneak onto your campus and find a spot where there's no wireless? Are they going to find it?
You're welcome. You're welcome. We've done the test with the children. I put up a QR code around campus and I said, go check my wireless, tell me how it works. And you got 1,400 children saying, cool, I'll take my phone. I'll tell you where there's no wireless. And they couldn't. It wasn't a single place, not in the toilets, not in the passageways, not at the tree at the bottom end of the field. In fact, even one of a Sister Loveness came to me the one day and said, I cannot believe that I was on my iPad at a school sports event at the bottom end of the field and I had wireless. I could get onto Adam. I could load children's information. I could find information about a child, whether they were allergic to bee stings. So that was the kind of focus that I had, was let's get wireless, let's do it properly. The other thing that I did with the wireless as well, so not to digress too much, but and I'll tell you about Linkify at a later stage if anyone is interested, but we put Linkify as our guest wireless because we do host a lot of we host a lot of things at our school, as do schools. Generally, schools, you're hosting things. You've got events, you've got all sorts of things happening at your school. And I didn't want, from a security point of view, people just randomly joining my guest network using the Ruckus guest system. I wanted them to use a separate, more secure solution. And I had a look at a lot of different solutions out there. And Linkify came at the top. There weren't any other schools at the time using Linkify. Vodacom were the only other people using Linkify. They had a new building that had gone up, or a new place, facility, and they were testing and using Linkify. And it's just incredible what you can do with Linkify. It's very secure, and I know a lot of schools are very worried about security, so that was another reason why I went with the Linkify solution. And of course, with the VLANing and the correct backbone and so on, I don't have to worry at all. We've done pen testing. We've had 3 companies come and do pen testing. They haven't yet been able to break into my server structure, my local system. Again, by all means, you can come and test that if you like. I'm always open to a challenge. Yeah.
Okay. So tell me quickly, if you're a school and you got a shoestring budget, so a smaller budget, where would you begin on this journey? You know, where's the starting point to getting your networks in? You know, security is one thing, but just to lay that foundation down, where do you start?
Okay, so you got to look at what are your needs at the school. So the school needs access in the classrooms for the children, if this is the kind of school that you are, where the children are bringing their own devices. So you got to look at your backbone. You got to start with the very, very, very bottom. You got to look at the backbone. You got to say, right, if my backbone cannot support the amount of users that we have, that we're saying we want to have connected to the system, you're not going to win. So you have to start with the very base. The very, very base is your backbone. So you got to look at replacing your switches, putting in proper fiber, putting in proper Cat6 cabling. And then also, if you're able, take all your servers and put them in the cloud. So we put everything at Terraco. So I've put up a little slide now just to give you an indication of how we've done that. If you can't afford to do that, then yes, you need to obviously make sure that your servers are running, that they're up to date, that they're good, because you can't have any bottlenecks anywhere on your network. But a lot of bottlenecks begin on the Cat cabling, on the fiber cabling. You've got to make sure that your backbone from a technical point of view has the same kind of bandwidth from one end of the school to the other end of the school. So we've got a 40 gigabit per second backbone, thanks to Console. So internally, we're running at 40 gigabits per second because of the SFPs that we put into the switches. And that's pretty quick. So our access points, we put in Ruckus. Again, the reason we chose Ruckus is it's a very, very high-end unit. It is an expensive unit, but there's a reason why we chose it. It can manage a lot of simultaneous connections. It has amazing technology built into the board, onto those access points. And it means that we can put fewer access points around the campus in very strategic positions, making sure that it doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing on the campus and where you're walking to and from, you have always got wireless access. So you got to look at what are our needs? Do I need my children to be able to walk from there to there streaming? Do I need them to be uploading something? Because obviously we've gone Google Classroom. And if children are doing something in a lesson where they've got to upload something, I wanted the children to be able to push upload to my classroom, whether it was a 1 gig, 2 gig, or whatever size file. And they could then walk between classrooms, go down to the field, do whatever while that file was still uploading. And it didn't drop. They didn't now suddenly get home and see, oh, this thing didn't upload because the wireless at school was so bad, I have to come and do it at home. I actually wanted to encourage people to come to school, use the wireless here to do the uploading and downloading. And of course, with COVID, that's worked out very well. A lot of our teachers have actually come to campus just so that they can use the wireless because it's just so good. And that is a credit to, it's a big credit to, Caribou and to Console and the guys from Dell that came and helped us, with Linkify, the CloudPath guys, and of course, our breakout.
Yeah. So Leo, quickly, we're going to run out of time, and I'd like to move away maybe a bit from the network to devices and and a bit of the software they're using. But there's a great question that's come through on this from Pretoria Girls High School. So I'm going to read the question to you. It says, me and my IT manager, Cleo, my technicians support 1,500 plus girls and around 150 staff. We're using Office 365 for the staff and the girls. We also use academic online teacher team supports for me and my academic side of the champions. The question is, how did you decide on what type of devices you rolled out to the students? Did you advise the parents on the certain brands or type of BYOD devices? So if you could use this lead into devices and what you decided on. I know that we touched on having Cloud Ed come and help and this and that, but yeah, how did you roll out that process of devices and bring your own device to the school?
Okay, so again, coming from the corporate sector, one of the big things that I learned in the corporate sector and also then coming into the school sector was you need choice, and you need good choice, and you need to be able to support that choice. So in the grade 4, 5, 6, and 7 space, and I'll focus on that specifically to answer the question, or at least part of the question, we chose Chromebooks. And the reason we went for Chromebooks is because of their ease of use, and they are already talking to Google, and we are already a Google, we're already doing everything in Google Classroom, et cetera, and it just made sense to go with Chromebooks in that senior primary phase. And then in our college phase, our grade 8s to 9s, we've also been asking parents that have been asking us what device. We've been saying, first start with the Chromebook. If the Chromebook isn't going to be sufficient, in other words, if your child is going to take IT in grade 10, 11, and 12, then get a Windows laptop, because what we're doing in grade 10, 11, and 12 is Java programming, C#, C++, and they need a Windows machine for that. You can't do this on a Chromebook. So I know I'm going to get shut down here, but I'm not a big fan of iPads in pedagogy. I'm not a big fan of using iPads at school, and there are a lot of reasons for that, and I won't get into it. I just find for our needs at St. David's that iPads haven't worked as well as the Chromebooks, not nearly as well, and I'm sure iPads work very well for a lot of schools that have got it set up very well and properly. But remember, when I came to St. David's, it was a mismatch. We had iPads, we had Windows machines, we had Google, we had Microsoft, we had O365, we've got Jamf, we've got everything. It was a just bring it and just make it happen, make it work kind of thing. And I had to say, all right, Teams is great, Google is great, and iPads are great. We need to choose one that's going to work for us. And thankfully, we went with the Google Classroom side, and that's worked very well for us. But to answer your question around devices, yes, we got 3, now actually 4 providers that we direct our parents to. So we use Open Networks, Cloud Edu, Caribou, and we've got one more guy that's come on board. So, we've actually got Paul McKay, he's a Dell guy. So we give our parents 4 options. The Cloud Edu guys, awesome. I love the guys. Open Networks, also, I love these guys. They've got websites. They put the websites up. They put the product on for us. We tell them what product we want our parents to buy. And we direct all our parents there. We put out a communication. There it is. These are the people that we're supporting. And then, of course, starting from next year, we're now going to bring Caribou on as well, just so that there's more choice in terms of where parents can buy. One of the questions that our parents did ask last year was, why only Acer? Why only the Acer 511? Why not Dell? Why not Lenovo? Well, Dell don't make very good Chromebooks. I'm sure they improved. All right. Acer
polite interruption.
Acer make a fabulous Chromebook, and we've had very little problems with the Acer Chromebooks. And look, Paul has been amazing with the Dell support, and our parents that did have issues initially with the Dells, he provided the most amazing support, and Dell's support is incredible. It's very, very good.
Yes,
look, Dell is, all our stuff. Generally, I buy Dell laptops for all my staff, Dell projectors. I love Dell. But yeah, so the grade 1, 2, and 3, we're busy communicating now to our parents. We're using iPad minis at the moment. We've just reconfigured all our iPad minis, and they're all in Jamf, etc. But our grade 3s, we are hoping to get our grade 3s onto Chromebooks from next year. And like I say, in the college, yeah, again, Chromebooks. They're just easy. They work. They're robust. They're reliable. They've got we've using them now for almost a second year. they're wonderful devices. Our kids love them, and our parents absolutely adore them, and our teachers love them as well. All our teachers in the senior primary phase have got Chromebooks. They love them.
I'm going to wrap up with one last question. We're definitely running out of time now, but last question is you guys kind of do a rotational system on the IT coding and robotics side of things. So you use ESV3 one term, then you go over to Sphero or Code. Why this? In short, why sort of the multiple faceted exposure for the kids in that? And then we're going to wrap up on tricks.
All right, cool. So in a nutshell, kids get bored very quickly. They do, all right? And if you don't challenge them or give them enough things to think about, they get bored. So you will always get the children that excel and learn stuff very quickly. You get children that are just not grasping it. And then you get your middle ground children who kind of just go along with it. So I had to look at how we were going to put coding and robotics into the space of the children, starting from our grade 5s, but actually starting from our grade 1s. So you'll see the screen that I've got shared up now gives you a basic picture of we're a 3-term school, what we do in each of those terms. And the basic reason, the main reason why we do a different thing in each term is to give them exposure to lots of different things. So again, it can come to devices. We don't mind the kids using iPads. They can use an iPad and a Chromebook and a Windows laptop in the same lesson if they want. We don't mind. Okay. And it must go back to the same as well. If you're going to teach kids anything, give them some choice, give them some exposure. So you'll see, for example, in our grade 6s, we start with the EV3 Lego. Then we go into term 2 with the code.org computer science fundamentals. And in term 3, we do Minecraft education and Spheros. Now, if anyone listening, all right, knows anything about those 3 different things, you will know that, yes, while there is enough to keep your children busy for an entire year on EV3 or code.org or Minecraft, I don't feel there's enough exposure to all of this if you focus on just one of them throughout the year. Then in grade 7, you'll see I start with Classcraft with CS fundamentals in the first term. I move into augmented reality, virtual reality, Minecraft education, and Spheros in term 2. And then I only do EV3 Lego in term 3 because in grade 8, we've now brought Resolute Robotics on board, or we're in the process of bringing them on board, where they now start with the smart garden, the home automation, Python programming. So there's a flow. It's all about the flow. It's like gaming. You need that flow. It needs to go. Now you're speaking the IT
manager's language. Okay, Leo, thank you so much. We're going to wrap up. What I want to say, though, is well done. I think that it's an amazing journey you've been on. I also really want to encourage, there's a lot of schools out there that are going to undertake this journey, need advice, need the help. Leo is on the system as an attendee. You can find him. Leo, if you're willing, you can post your email address in that, or we can post it in the chat, and reach out to Leo. Pose your questions to him. He really, we had a phenomenal conversation. He has great store now of knowledge on how to do this and how to get your school from where it is to where you're dreaming for it to be. So Leo, thanks, well done. And yeah, we really appreciate your time.
Cool, thanks very much, guys. Cheers.
Yeah, thank you, Ashley. Thank you for hosting that. We've had a couple of people just asking us about the SonicWall roundtable security discussion. Ashley is going to hop off and set that up now. Sorry, I was going to do it, but I realized my computer was being used. So we're going to be setting up that roundtable. But we are going to show a quick video from our favorite peer here now, and then after that, someone who's watching live is about to win a 1,000 Rand Take-A-Lot voucher. I've drawn the winner, but first let's see if we can get my machine shared, and let's watch a video from P2G. So here we go. Give me 1 second as where are we showing on the wrong screen? Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, please bear with us with technical difficulties. We are nearly there. It's always a bit embarrassing when you're battling to do it live. Sorry, 1 sec.
Could do a little song and a dance if you like.
Yeah, I'll let Ashley talk to you. Please bear with us with technical difficulties.
Unfortunately, I'd be the IT director at the school, not the choir master. So.
Sorry, we have lost audio with him, which is a bit surprising. Let me see if I can get this working. Please bear with me. We're going to share screen, put him across. All right. There he is. Here we go. Let's see if this will work.
Again. So, I hope you've enjoyed.
We have a failure. We have no audio. My apologies about that. We'll sort that out in a couple of seconds. But before that, I'm going to give away 1,000 Rand. Oh, is it working? Yeah. I've been told it is working. It is just my machine. So I am going to play it. Give me 1 second. He's going back. Here we go.
Again. So, I hope you've enjoyed some of my previous videos, but today I want to speak to you about something that is quite close to the heart. I've been doing magic since the age of 10, and I do magic because I love it and I enjoy it. But what I've realized is the reaction of the people is what grasps me, and I love knowing something that you at home don't know. But I want to share a story with you. I did magic from the age of 10. And after varsity, I got a job at a logistics company. And at this logistics company, I was there for 6 months and I got a gig to go perform for the Prince of Dubai in Seychelles. I performed with people like Nora Jones. It was amazing. Got back from the gig, made good money, more than I would have made in 6 months with the job I was at. And I said to them, goodbye, I'm done. Thank you very much. What I didn't know is that I had to survive on that money for the next year and a half. So I had to do magic to start surviving, to pay my fuel, to pay my bread and butter. And what happened? I started losing my passion for magic. And today I see it in schools, I see it in the work environment. Teachers chasing the paycheck. I chased the paycheck and I lost the passion for magic. The moment I did it to survive, I lost the passion. And today I want to inspire you. If you're a teacher, children would pick up if you do this out of the passion for teaching. Because if you're in this industry, you're in this to make a big difference, to influence children's lives. I took a break from magic for 2 years. I got another job. I went studying again, got another job in the financial industry. And then I started doing magic because I enjoyed it and for the passion of it. And I can tell you what, I've made more money since then because gigs has been coming streaming in because people realized I'm doing it because I love what I'm doing. And my motivational message today is do not lose the passion for what you have. Focus on your passion. And I'll show you, if you focus on the passion, the money will come from itself. So I've got a piece of toilet paper. It's 1 ply. I mean, times is tough in South Africa. They say the currency is currently so bad, women are getting married for love again. So what I will do with this toilet paper is I'll fold it up. I want to share a story with you actually. I gave a friend of mine money for plastic surgery the other day. I borrowed it to him. And I feel a bit stupid because I don't know what it looks like anymore. So toilet paper, if I shake my hands up and down, and I'm doing this to lose weight, and I unfold the toilet paper, you would see that it will turn into a brand new 10 Rand. Focus on your passion, focus what's in your heart, and success will be yours.
All right, there we are. And the worst bit about it is I could not hear it. And I loved it, but luckily I've watched it before. So Peter G, once again, thank you for your inspiration. He actually just sent me another 30-second clip, which I'm going to try show at the end if we have time for the prize giving. Just a reminder, at the end of this Lions Den pitch, we're going to have a prize giving where we're giving some amazing prizes away. While we're talking prizes, we randomly drew one person that is streaming and watching at the moment and who participated in the chat function. And I would like to award the following person with a 1,000 Rand Take Lot voucher for their personal use. He is the IT manager teacher at Bridgehouse, Kobus Roo. Congratulations. You are walking away with a 1,000 Rand voucher sponsored by SonicWall. So we will share that information with you shortly. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get into the Lion's Den pitch. As you know, we're all about finding solutions that can really help you as a school. And today we've pulled together some really incredible companies we believe can lift a burden off you. Some of them are big, well-known companies. Others you might not yet know about. But the aim is these are each a company that can help you. So first up, is Alan from Cambridge University Press. Alan, I am going to invite you on stage now. Sorry, there we go. Alan, you are coming on stage now. When you're on, please turn on your video. Oh, are you there? Okay, Alan? Are you in the background? Sorry. I think all of you schools know that feeling when you're having technical problems. This seems to be one of those days. Alan, when you are there, please pop your video on. Sorry, I am wondering if somehow we are. Annika, could you please try from your side? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, sorry, we seem to be having a problem. Alan, I can see you in the background. What we are going to do is I'm just going to see if I can get our second Lion's Den pitch on with us. Dolan, if you are out there, let's see if we can get you on, and Alan will come back to you shortly. Dolan, can you get on? There we go. Sorry, Alan, there seems to be a problem. So Dolan, I think you should be coming on. Dolan is from the Edutech Institute. And he is just going to be sharing how he can support you as a school. So Dolan, I can see you are there. Pop your video on. The aim with these Lion's Den pitches is really just for people, for top companies out there to see how they can grab your attention. Dolan is at the beach. Brilliant. Dolan, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. You have 7 minutes and the floor is yours. Just please remember you are muted. So if you want to unmute yourself.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
I've got you. You just might want to share your PowerPoint, Control 5 it. It's not presenting.
Can you see that?
And there we go. Dolan, you have 7 minutes. The floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dolan Govender. I'm from Edutech Institute, and my passion is to actually improve the education landscape in South Africa, especially when it comes to English, maths, and science. But today, what I'm going to be talking about is MindSpark, which is the most proven personalized adaptive learning software. And the company that has created it is called Educational Initiatives. Educational Initiatives is the world's largest educational research company. So the question that troubles us and inspires us is that why is that every 3 months that we can have a new phone, but we have not significantly improved the way our children learn in decades? Now, the problem is that we've given standardized treatment for all our kids without a proper diagnosis, and that's what we aim to do, is diagnose the problem and give the proper treatment for our children. And how we do that is with our theory of change is that we base our technology on misconceptions, learning gaps, and effective remediation. So some of our partners are the likes of Google, UNICEF, World Bank, etc. You can see all these names are international partners. They believe in us. They use our products in their huge CSI projects as well. Some of the institutes that have evaluated us and proven that our software works is, sorry about this, guys, is Harvard Business Review, JPAL, and UNESCO. If you see, UNESCO is the, UNESCO is, I said that our software has won 2 awards in the artificial intelligence space and the most innovative math software. Some of our customers are the likes of Mitchell Primary, Curo, online schools, DGS schools. What's interesting about Curo is that they've said that ours has the most advanced pedagogy, and it does actually address the learning gaps, and they are one of our clients. Why is MindSpark the most proven adaptive learning software? It's also a trademark of ours, is because of the technology that we have. It has an AI-powered engine, and we have about 20 years of research on children's learning, which offers a truly personalized maths learning to every student. We have it available from grades 1 to 10. Our technology has 4 US patents, and we align to all these different curriculums like CAPS, IGCSE, etc. What the pain points are for kids, parents, teachers is that kids are not learning at the grade level. If you notice that, for example, those learning levels are below the grade levels they're actually at. And this is a problem, and this problem gets wider and wider every single year if we don't address these foundational gaps. How MindSpark works in terms of the algorithm is that we do the software does a diagnostic test for the child when they start using it for a specific topic. It identifies the misconception, it creates the remediation path personalized to that particular child, and then it does an inline test to ensure that the child has understood the concept, and then it repeats that process. What you'll also notice is that why our software is so advanced is that our technology and our data and our research has been done with over 200,000 schools, or close to 200,000 schools. And, we've done over 25 government projects, 25 governments, 180 projects globally. And this is the science of our learning, is that we ask students questions, we hypothesize their misconceptions, we diagnose their mistakes, and we ask deeper questions. Now, the technology around this is the artificial intelligence, the applied research, the data analysis, and the machine learning. And that's why we've got these patents and the trademarks, because of this technology with our math software. How the software actually works, you'll see here is that there's 3 children, all of them on 3 different learning levels. One is called Arya Patal, Sindhu, and Jasmita. You can see that the software adapts to the way they learn. So if you look at Arya Patal, she goes through her learning paths. If you look at the block I3, it brings her down to a level, it fixes the gap, takes her back up. If you look at I7, it's taken her right down to remediation. The software has identified, oh, she's having this misconception. She's even a basic level is not good, so it remediates her from the lower levels. When you look at the bottom right there, the master of fractions, is that every single child has answered different questions, right? They've taken different amount of time and different number of questions, purely because everyone's learning level is different. So the software has identified this for every child and created a learning path for them. Now, if you look at at the learning path of each child, you'll notice that every single child has a different graph here. So you look at the first 2 children, their path was fairly straightforward. It fixed a few gaps there. But if you look at student C, which was Arya Patal, it actually addressed all those different gaps and ensured that she finished that topic. So that is how personalized learning should work. And that is why we've got the patents. What you'll also notice is that there's 4 levels of learning with our software. We diagnose, we predict, we recommend, and we evaluate. Now, what you'll notice here is that Professor Bloom's research suggests that personalized tutoring produces a significant improvement over traditional teaching. 98% of classes above the lecture average. Now, what can be personalized? Now, all of this can be personalized in our software: the topic, the questions, the pace of learning, the style of learning, the emotional support, etc. Now, it becomes physically impossible for teachers to actually provide this personalized learning, where MindSpark acts as a teacher's assistant and can actually help them with that. So now, if you look at some of the research, I did mention JPAL, which is an independent research company. Sorry.
Nolan, just so you know your time, you got 30 seconds.
Okay, I'm just going back. Oh man. So you see MindSpark impact is that it's proven to increase maths learning by 2 to 4 times gains. And Karak Muthulatharan has said it's better than anything I've ever seen in 15 years of educational research. And you can see how it has actually improved that because of its personalized adaptive learning. Now you can see the student. I just want to show you the teacher portal there. You can see what the teacher can activate their own topics. And yeah, so we want to create a world where children everywhere are learning with understanding. This is my details. These are my contact details. Please visit our booth. Please give us a call and we'll be able to help you and do a proper demonstration for you. Thank you very much.
Dolan, that is brilliant. I think anyone out there, hop onto their booth. We're going to ask Alan to jump on. So please go across to Edutech Institute. Dolan and them will be on the exhibitor booth. So literally you just click on the exhibitor button on your phone or on the web version. You can find their booth and have a chat to them. Dolan, that's some pretty incredible stuff. Thank you. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Brilliant. We are going to see if we can now get Alan on. Earlier we could not get him on, but I think he is there. Alan, if you want to pop your video on, and we will be able to see you. There we go. Brilliant. We had some technical glitches, but we got you on. So by way of introduction, short intro, Alan works for Cambridge University Press. I think this is a name that we all know, and we all know it well. So Alan, 7 minutes, the floor is yours.
Great stuff. Thank you so much. I'm setting my timer now. Let's see if we get there. The product I'm introducing to you this morning is something called Study a Master Maths Online, and it's powered by Cambridge HotMaths. Cambridge HotMaths is an international platform that was developed in Australia for Australia and New Zealand schools originally. And then Cambridge University Press actually looked at this. It was a really good product, and we bought that. And it's been redeveloped for various international curricula. So it's now available for the Cambridge curriculum for Cambridge AS and A levels, IGCSEs, and Checkpoint levels 7 to 9. And was redeveloped in India as well for various state curricula there. And in South Africa, no slouches, we've also redeveloped it for the CAPS curriculum for grades 4 to 9. We spent about 3 years actually working on that. And so not just the content has been mapped to CAPS carefully, but the context and the images and all the supporting content has also been mapped to that. So what we've done now is, well, last year we introduced activity books to go with the platform. And these were printed activity books as well as a printed teacher's guide. And this lends support to the whole platform environment, which I will share with you shortly. And what we've now launching actually for the first time at Schoolscape, which I'm very proud of, is we're launching 2 pure digital versions. And these give teachers access for 3 years to grades 4 to 6, so the intermediate phase, or grades 7 to 9, the senior phase, for 3 years. And that is teacher access to the whole platform for 250 Rand. So it's actually a really well-priced online platform for the CAPS curriculum. So without further ado, let me share my screen and show you a little bit of what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is the front end. So it's hotmaths.co.za. And I'm going to log into the platform quickly. So what you're seeing here is the front interface, which is the view that you would see as a teacher as you come in. And you can get to all the content at the top here and choose your grade. So in this particular one, I've actually activated grades 4 to 6 and 7 to 9. So I'll just show you something from grade 7. And you can see I've got all of the topics listed here for grade 7. So these are all the different topics that you can go into. And let's do fractions. We'll have a look at what fractions are. So there's 4 lessons applicable to fractions. What is a fraction? Improper versus mixed, equivalent fractions, and comparing and ordering. So let's have a look at equivalent fractions, just to give you a flavor of it. So this could be used, this platform could be used front of class, as we're kind of doing now, could be used remotely, as we're doing now, or it could be used in an integrated way, because there's also teacher and student profiles that you can set up with this. And then you can take advantage of some of the link features, would be detailed analytics and reporting and the ability to assign tasks and tests, etc. So here's a lesson. The lesson is fairly linear in layout. You could put this into a full screen mode and go through the lesson even on a projector front of class. And there's also interactive elements in it. So you'll see that there's widgets built into this, or walkthroughs that we can go through, and we can actually use these interactive widgets and reset different parameters here and work through that. So these would give you, these would take you back, well, these are actually really great for visual learners as well. And you, sorry, screen is going a bit muggy. There we go. Also, what's built into it is hot sheets. So there's a whole bunch of downloadable and printable worksheets in here, and you could share these and WhatsApp these with your parents. There's also the answer key would go with it. And so if you're doing remote learning, that's great. There's already built-in worksheets with answer keys that you can use. And then a few other things that I really like about this, apart from those, and I'm rushing it through because we've only got 2 minutes left, is you can have a look and see exactly which digital resources are applicable to this lesson. So we're just in this one lesson, and there's a few different resources. There's level questions, so there's 4 levels of difficulty built into this. And so you can use this as a way of diagnosing very quickly what your learner's ability is on the, or understanding of this particular topic is. So we can say if you wanted to see level 1 questions, which are the easiest, the answers are found in the notes. These would be checking a basic understanding. There'll be some working out for level 3, and then challenge would be for quite advanced learners. So we can do a level 2 question, and this will give you 10 questions at level 2 that you can actually work through with the class. And let's just put any old thing in there just to see what happens. And you can see it says it's incorrect, and you can actually go through the, you can go through the through to the next question, or if you're consistently getting this wrong, move down to a different level. So that's a basic lesson layout. There's a fantastic quiz tool built into this, and there is about 100,000 students that go onto this each month and compete to be the top in the leaderboard on each particular topic in this. So there's quite a lot of activity on that. Other features that's built into it, and I'm going to see if I can get this done quick enough, is it's a really cool feature, I think, is the test generator that's in here. And so we can actually create a test, and I'll use the wizard quickly to do that. We'll call this today's test, and we will choose a let's choose all of those, and we're going to do 4 of the level 1 questions, and you'll see it's starting to pick up the number of questions. I see my 7 minutes is running out. Can you give me just a few more seconds there?
You got 20 seconds, go.
We'll do 2 level 2 questions, or 11 of those, and you can see we've got too many questions, so I'm going to drop that down to 4. There we go, there's 40 questions. That should be easy enough. Generate the test very quickly. There's the test. It's as simple as that. We can do a preview of this. Look at the test. There's the test all worked out. You can print this test off, and you can decide that you want to delete questions. We don't want that question anymore. We can actually move questions around if you want to. So it's actually quite customizable. Once you're happy with that, as you can save the test.
Sorry, Alan, that is your time. I'm sorry to say.
Okay.
30 seconds.
No worries. I appreciate it.
What are next steps? If people want more info,
okay. Thanks so much for that. Is what I would say is the next steps, if you can please contact me. My details are in the store, or it's avesti@cambridge.org. And yeah, I will be able to set up your school with a demo and take you through the system and help you with the onboarding and all that. And thanks for your time.
Brilliant. Alan, thank you so much. We appreciate your time. Next up, we have Paul. Paul is from Outsourced House. Paul, when you are there, please pop on your video. You will come on live. There you are. And I am just going to, there we go, push Alan off in the background. Brilliant. Paul, I think it's going to be easier if I let you intro yourself. I see you've been engaging on the different topics, sharing some very interesting stuff. So, Paul, over to you, 7 minutes.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So we have been dealing with schools for the last 20 years. I'm actually an ex-maths teacher. And we have been dealing with lots of different schools in ways that they need to have communications, go out and marketing. And I'd like to talk to you guys about a thing called Exclaimer today. So Exclaimer works with Office 365 and G Suite and Microsoft Exchange. And it deals with signatures. So signatures are very hard. If you've ever dealt with a school and you want to set up signatures via PowerShell or anything like that, it's very, very difficult to have everyone have a good signature on their emails. And depending on what your school has, you might have your IT department emailing your staff and saying, please copy and paste this signature onto your email. And then you please edit your name and your title and your email, your contact details. And it's it's an absolute mess up. So what we are doing is that we are looking at email signatures and the way you can deploy it easily to your staff. So if you're a marketing person or an IT person, you can set it up in the portal and basically it just makes a signature for you. And every single person's details that are already captured in the Active Directory or your Google directory, it pulls all that information from there into your signature automatically. And you can do a couple of things with it. And the thing is that with these signatures that you're seeing on your screen right now, they're horrible. They're absolutely horrible. And these names have been changed to protect the guilty, to be honest. And I mean, there's one at the top here. Unless you're a pre-primary school and your logo actually has flowers in it, please never use flowers. And different colors and different fonts. These are terrible, terrible signatures. And one of my favorite or my worst signatures is actually the sent from my iPhone. It's just not great. And if you're trying to boast about how amazing you are and you say, I want to be the best person for this thing, and you have all your awards at the bottom, it's absolutely terrible. So with the signatures, marketing really is the key. And what we've found during these times is that certain schools are trying to get their online learning sorted out. They're trying to get people online. They're trying to get the communications out via Facebook, Twitter, everything. And what we are actually saying here is that your emails can be another platform for communication. And what we've got is a couple of our schools, like we've got King Edward at the top there, and their mascot is a teddy bear. So what they did is they changed their signature, put a teddy bear on every single one of the staff's emails, and every newsletter that goes out via EdAdmin, or the things that get sent out via their admin staff or their finance staff, all of them have their logo on, their adjusted logo. And all the schools can have everything that they want on that. They can have banners at the bottom of their signatures. They can have contact details. And the thing that's actually quite amazing, and this is what we had at one of our schools, is that they had at their school, because they didn't have a centralized signature system, they had 3 head of maths departments. And when we went in there, the first person wasn't actually a head of maths, they were actually just a first-year teacher. So this solves those problems. They solve how people can actually have their signatures working. And with this, we can also then have other things. We can have banners at the bottom. Unfortunately, we don't have any rugby right now. So one of our schools had this banner that they were going to put up called Rugby is Back. So that is not happening right now. But we found that a lot of people are actually having, if they're promoting something, they would say rugby's back or reports are out or whatever it is. But when they're not promoting something, they put on things like get your My School card. And the conversions that are happening now with people who didn't have a My School card before, and the parents are now sort of like seeing at the bottom of every single email, they're now getting those My School cards, and the conversion is actually ramping up quite dramatically. And another thing is that EdAdmin, which was a presentation yesterday, they have a new app. And what one of our schools has done is they've got a banner on their thing that says, EdAdmin, get your latest version of the app here on the Apple Store or the Play Store. And it's sort of like it's converted it so nicely, which means that people are now engaging. So in terms of this, we stop people doing their signatures, changing their signatures, deleting the signatures, having Comic Sans as their font. And we found that the marketing of it is actually being quite amazing now. So in terms of the marketing department has hundreds of events in your calendar. And we now say that you can sort of like, you can target what the event is you would like to promote at the bottom of your signature, and you can then track what is going to be engaged with. So instead of having a Facebook or a Twitter or a YouTube or whatever it is, you now have another platform where you can have measurable marketing things. And what we're going to do is we are doing a couple of things for you. We are doing a 10% off recommended retail prices if you register on our booth. We are also doing a free setup of it for you. We are doing a 30-day trial for you. We are also going to teach you how to do it. So we'll do free training with all your marketing or your IT staff. And all of that is part of this deal. So jump on over to our booth and you can do that. And also at 1 o'clock this afternoon on Zoom, we are doing a live presentation on how this whole thing works and how it will, you can use it in your school. And yeah, that's kind of me. I hope I was in the 7 minutes.
You were perfectly within your 7 minutes. You had 5 seconds to spare, so we'll do a little bit more than that actually to spare. So we really, really appreciate that. I just think one thing that really stood out from me there, Paul, is, am I correct? You said you've been dealing with schools for 20 years. Is that correct?
Yep, 20 years. 20
awesome.
Years. That's why I look so old.
You're only actually 14 because you look about 25.
Yeah.
So, Paul, thanks. Please, for all the schools, jump onto Outsourced House or jump onto their roundtable conversation.
Perfect.
All right. So, Paul, thank you.
Thanks so much, Peter.
Brilliant. It's now my privilege to invite the team from D6 on. So they're going to be jumping on now. Keith, I can see you are coming on. And I think Werner, I think you are possibly also coming on. There we go. So when you're on, please turn on your video. I think this is one company that doesn't need much of an introduction. I think everyone has heard of the name D6. So let's see what they have in store for us. Keith, Werner, it's a privilege having you here. The stage is yours for the next 7 minutes. Enjoy.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Pete. I appreciate the invite. We found that many schools struggle with juggling with multiple admin systems and multiple accounting systems, reducing duplication of work and the additional costs brought about by all these systems, as well as coping with the frustration of effectively communicating with parents and then still finding the time to comply with the department's many requirements. My name is Keith Smith. I'm the head of sales at D6, and for over 17 years, more than 2,500 schools have trusted D6 to simplify the lives of principals, teachers, administrators, and parents. As a school teacher or a school principal, have you ever felt helpless at the amount of time it takes to get a full view of a learner's full profile? Some of the information might be in paper-based files. You might find that the marks is on SA SAMs, and then the financial data is on another system. Are your teachers in the classrooms actually teaching, or are they doing admin because of these inefficient systems? D6 Plus is in use in over 600 schools in South Africa and offers these schools a fully integrated suite of features addressing all of their admin, curriculum, and financial needs. This fully integrated suite means that administrators and teachers will spend far less time on admin chores, which not only saves the school money, but also makes your school more effective by putting teachers back in the classroom. And because it's cloud-based, it can be accessed from any device, from any location, by an almost unlimited amount of people at the same time, and without the risk of expensive servers on your school property. This means your system will be available 24/7, so your teachers and administrative staff can work anywhere from at any time, which also means that our D6 Plus schools were not sabotaged by the COVID-19 school closures and could continue with administrative and financial functions without risking lives. But I know the burning question that a lot of you will have, will the department allow us to use the system, and will it work along with SASAMs? And the resounding answer to this is yes. The department has always welcomed third-party providers, and since we are very proud of our long-standing tradition of perfect compliance with the department's requirements, many of our D6 Plus schools continue to receive perfect scores for their SASAM submissions. Many schools also realized too late during the COVID-19 pandemic that the old way of communicating important information to parents does not work in a lockdown. How frustrating was that for you? Also, further provisions of the POPI Act were signed into law on the 1st of July, which effectively tasks schools with the duty to protect their learners and their parents' privacy. So apps like WhatsApp can no longer be used as a communication tool at school. Fear not if you do not have a COVID-19 or POPI-proof communication tool, because D6 is here to help. Our beloved D6 School Communicator is used by over 2,000 schools, but our new app, D6 Connect, which is a bit like the School Communicator, but just on steroids, has been grabbing schools' attention at a breakneck speed. And I'm very proud to mention that more than 300 schools have adopted D6 Connect just in the past 6 months. D6 Connect offers your schools authenticated, secure, two-way communication with parents, allowing you to share information, alerts, newsletters, create events on multiple calendars, sharing resources and homework, and also allows parents an instant view on absenteeism, discipline, financial standings with the schools, etc. You can even send reply slips via the app, and I can guarantee you that your school will save money just from the savings on printing costs. But at the risk of sounding a bit like a very Mark ad, but wait, there's more. Integrated into D6 Connect is D6 Cashless, which allows parents to pay anything from school fees to fundraisers to special events and any other kind of special projects within the app. And these payments will automatically reflect on their account if you pair your D6 Connect with D6 Plus Finance. No more pain of matching learners with payments or worrying about the security risk of having cash on your school grounds. D6 Connect is the only app in South Africa that offers all this convenience from one app. D6 Cashless also caps their transaction fees. So large payments, for example, paying for school fees, doesn't attract massive banking fees either. Again, D6 Connect is the only app in South Africa that caps their fees. Even better, D6 Cashless also offers campus payment capabilities, which allow payments to your tuck shop, bookstore, clothing bank, anything like that, without needing cash. Also, a South African first for D6 Connect. Our products were built in schools for schools, and we are very passionate about making schools more effective. In fact, it's part of our DNA, and we wear it with pride. Why not join our family of over 2,000 schools and simplify your life? Please visit our virtual stand or email us at sales@d6.co.za, and we'll be happy to make your school more effective. Werner, I believe you have some exciting news to share too.
Thanks, Keith. Great to be here. Thanks so much for the opportunity. Yes, we are very much fortunate to have been in the media industry as well, as long as the app has been up and running. And by doing this, we've opened up various, let's call it ad inventory capabilities within the app in forms of banner advertising that local community-driven businesses or national brands can advertise to and get through to your end user. The great thing is what we are doing with these app advertising is we are giving back to the schools, where we are asking the schools or giving the schools the opportunity to basically forward a lead to D6 Media D6 Media will onboard this lead on the app itself within the banner inventory space that is available, and the school will then be able to get a commission of this lead that they've been presented through to the D6 Media team. With that, the banner advertising, we've just launched a great new offering within the app itself, which is called Local Listings. Local Listings is a new initiative which will be running and launching on D6 Connect for now until next year, where we'll be opening up to the remaining of the D6 Communicator. But Local Listings allows local listed businesses and services which will then be found within the app, where the parent can search for local businesses within the app under Local Listings. These local businesses will be local businesses such as, Keith, the number in the 10. These local businesses, as you can see there, accommodation, automated health, beauty, home services, IT services, legal, medical, pet, security, where the end user can just scroll to these services, click on the service, and there will be a call functionality which will offer the parent the functionality to call that local business within that area for as little starting as 90 Rand a month for a local listing. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Werner, perfect timing. Thank you so much. I encourage you on the exhibitor booth, please hop on and check out the team from D6. So click on exhibitor, you can go into D6 and you can ask them any questions. So ladies and gentlemen, that is our Lions Den done. Thank you to the team from D6. I really appreciate you coming on. You gents can drop off now. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, Werner. We are now going into a prize giving. We've got some incredible prizes up for grabs. We've got Take-A-Lot vouchers. We've got that wine. And then I'm also going to be just doing a bit of a breakdown on the round tables. And my apologies. It looks like yesterday, some of you might have jumped onto the Intermex Ed Admin roundtable. There was an error with people not being able to speak or see what was on. So we would just like to apologize that. So to Jason and his team, if you were looking for them, please though, go check them out. You can go on to their exhibitor profile and find them. So if you were looking for them, sorry, it was a technical glitch. They were there, but it wasn't working. So we're going to go into the prize giving. But before we do that, Pierre keeps sending me very, very funny video clips and amazing magic. So this one just blew my mind away. So I'm going to share it. I'm going to share my screen now. It's 30 seconds, and then we're going to go into the prize giving. So here we go.
Another lockdown day.
Should be showing.
Magic trick. I've got my phone camera here, as you can see, and we're going to take a photo of a lemon there. So there you'll see a nice photo of a lemon, and I'm going to try the impossible to actually rip that lemon out of there, and you'll see now we will have 2 lemons.
I love that. That to me is just amazing. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, if you can believe it, that is the end of the event. We still have some round tables, which I would like to share with everyone now. But maybe just before I share some of the round tables, I'm going to invite Kevin on stage. I'm actually also going to invite our main sponsor, Ashley Lawrence, on stage. And we're going to invite Sam from iSams on stage. So if they would all like to jump on board, you can turn on your video when you are live. All right, I see everyone is there and backstage. So just before we give away there's Ashley, just before we give away a couple of prizes, and it's actually perfect timing that Ashley. So I'm going to share my screen quickly. I just want to show you a couple of the upcoming round tables. So hold one. There we go. So I am showing the live agenda now. And you can see we have some round table conversations that are going at the moment. They're going to be starting after the session. So first up, all there is to know about CPD points. Just a reminder, by you attending this event, you actually get, I think it's 10 points. By just attending, you need to just know how to register them. So our official SACE partner is Get SACE Points, and they are running their session straight after this. So off your computer, you can just click on it, or on your mobile app, please just go to community. There's a section then that says meetups, and you can find them. Libraries are far from obsolete. So if you're involved in the library, and what's very cool is Kevin's mom is actually running this, and what she's done in their school is absolutely amazing. So that session is there. Ask Microsoft partner anything. Are you looking at Microsoft? Are you looking at it for your school? Are you using it? Do you need help with it? The team from Organic are well positioned to help. So jump onto that, ask the questions. All right, and then practically looking at security in your school. So this one I'm excited about. It's going to be with Lauren and Holly, but Kev and myself are going to be on it. And the reason we're jumping on is we really want to ask them of those really practical questions. I was looking at the poll results that came through of what people are facing in their school, and there's some really practical challenges there. So we're going to jump on there. The team from SonicWall and Lauren and Holly are going to be help, and I think it should be quite engaging, and we really want to make it interactive. So please come join us. And then in the afternoon, we have how are we preparing our learners to be safe on the internet? And that is run by Jenna, who presented in our track yesterday afternoon. And then also understanding security threats at 2 p.m. this afternoon. So those are the sessions. Please come join us. I will personally be on the security one with Kev, asking some good questions. But Ashley, Lawrence, we would just like to say a massive, massive thank you to SonicWall. If it wasn't for you, this event would not be possible. And we've already given away a couple of your vouchers, Take a Lot vouchers. So thank you for that. I'm going to give away one more now on the poll. And then actually, I'm just going to ask you just to give a closing statement for us. Just about being involved with the event, just how schools can connect with you. So I used a random generator to pull one of the poll results, and it landed up to be number 249, and it is Zelda Buerta. So I know Zelda has sent us a whole pile of questions and has been very active on the platform. So Zelda, I was very chuffed when I pulled your name. So you've just won a 1,000 Rand voucher from Take a Lot from SonicWall. And then earlier, Quibus from Bridge House also won a voucher. So Ashley, Lawrence, just from your side, any closing remarks, just any closing thoughts? I know we've still got the round table, but anything you'd like to share in closing?
Yeah, that's great. First of all, thank you to Ashley, Peter, Kevin, and the guys for putting the event together. It's always a kind of difficult to change platforms. We were all used to kind of standing at the coffee station, chatting to the guides. It's kind of very organic, and now we're kind of thrown into using apps and various mechanics, which is always a little bit complicated, especially for the older members of society. But thank you very much. I think it's been a great success. How do you get hold of SonicWall? How do you get hold of the various other exhibitors? And again, as to kind of reiterate what Kevin's saying, stress the value of these events is the actual what you get out by engaging with these with the partners, and start building relationships with these vendors and or integrators. We're quite agnostic. We're a two-tiered channel distribution company. So we're the vendor, we have distributors and resellers. So speak to us very safe. We're not going to sell you anything. We're just going to evangelize around the products. We're going to talk about technology. We're going to take you through some global standards. So it's a perfect opportunity to kind of this, as I say, this platform is ideal for engaging with partners and starting your journey to kind of link to the new technologies available to help empower the schools to kind of deal with the new norm, etc., etc. So yeah, please reach out to the guys. And again, if you're nervous about technology and joining roundtables and using the apps, then reach out to Peter, reach out to Kevin. I mean, everyone knows where to find the team, and you get organized meetings, organize a WebEx. The guys are quite happy to kind of take this one-on-one and do the take you on those journeys together. I mean, it is a journey. It is, and it has to start somewhere. So this is a perfect mechanic to start that today.
Brilliant. Ashley, thank you. We are very appreciative of your support, and I think your company is just so relevant for our period and season within the country. Cybersecurity is a huge need, and just having a trusted partner. So we can highly recommend also just reaching out to Ashley. But now I'm actually going to hand across to Sam. Sam is giving away Ashley's favorite wine, and Ashley is, this Ashley, not the other Ashley. So Sam, I believe you've done a draw for the wine.
Yes, we have. Yes, so unfortunately not. I've heard that it's been especially hard to get hold of any sort of wine in the past few months. So I'm hoping that this will help with Karen, and I'm really sorry for that going on in the apologies for that. But yeah, so let me just wait because it's going to keep on making more noise. So we're just going to keep on talking about ISAMs instead. But basically with Karen from St. Peter's Prep School, we did like a pick from the list of names that sort of entered in for our competition. And I'll be in touch with Karen directly just to organise the wine to be sort of posted out. But we'll do that as quickly as we can because I do appreciate that there has been a bit of a wait recently. And apologies for the background noise.
In fact.
Sorry, what was that?
I said I have her address.
Don't trust it.
It's Stellenbosch.
Don't trust it.
The launch lab.
All right, Sam, thank you. We really appreciate such a cool prize. And then just a reminder, Sam's from ISAM, so you can go check them out on the exhibitor profile. We then have one more prize, and then we're going to talk about the Promethean board and then close. So the last prize, which is also a 1,000 take a lot voucher from Digital Generation. They used random.org, so that's quite cool. That's a random generator from anyone that had liked or taken the deal offer on the website. And the winner is Heidi Hudson-Bennett from Somerset College. So congratulations, Heidi. Michelle will be in contact soon with your Take a Lot voucher. And yeah, enjoy that. Spend it on yourself, not your school. Yes. I don't know if Take a Lot does wine. You'll have to check. Awesome. Brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, that puts us to the end. So, Sam, I'm going to drop your video there. You can drop off. We just, I think, actually, Lawrence, you can stay on. I just think overall it's been an incredibly engaging event. We just want to say thank you. We just appreciate you climbing on board. I know we had some technical glitches using a new platform, going from physical. We've actually had quite a few remarks from people saying, please use the app at the physical event. So a lot of the schools have loved it. The other good news is the app is going to be open still for at least a month. So you can still chat, connect with the exhibitors. We can extend it a bit further. Kev, any closing thoughts from your side?
Pete, from my side, I just want to say thanks a lot to Schoolscape, because I think if you guys weren't here, I think this wouldn't have happened. And then representing schools, I think it's a difficult year. The year's been rough. So a platform like this really allows us to engage. And I'm grateful to all forms of technology like this, because if it wasn't for this, we wouldn't actually be able to function during this period. And then special thanks to the sponsors, the guys that have put this event together. Without you, this wouldn't have been possible. So thank you. And then I encourage everybody, please go to the meets, the virtual meets, whether you're a school or someone in management, or you want to find out about something, go on. It doesn't have to be with a vendor. It can be with another school. So go and engage. I encourage people to do that. And then special thanks to Pete and Ash. Thank you so much.
Brilliant.
Lastly, I'm going to jump in again. Just a reminder as well, guys, that Promethean board is still up for grabs. So please go connect with the exhibitors. So download the app, hit the deal and offer button, and connect with the exhibitors. The more exhibitors you connect with, the bigger chance you get to winning that 75-inch panel. I mean, it's bigger than our pretty picture behind us here. So imagine that in your class when you all get back. So that'd be great. So please connect with the exhibitors, and we're going to draw
that prize after the teacher track, which is this afternoon.
Yes. And if it is one of you and you're not online, don't worry, we will get hold of you. You don't have to be concerned. But please go and connect with the exhibitors. Continue to use the app. Continue to connect with the exhibitors post-event. And yeah, thank you for all tuning in live. Thank you for all of those who have been watching at home. We've had thousands of people watching on the YouTube channel. So yeah, thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know Kevin and I need to jump onto a round table. We hope we will see you there. Just remember, go into the agenda, go that way, or go community and meetups, and you can jump on. And then just a reminder, once again, our apologies yesterday for those that tried to jump onto the Edutech Intermix once again, our apologies about that, but please reach out to the team. Final thank you to SonicWall. We really appreciate it. We appreciate your time. And I am now late for roundtable. So goodbye.
See you there. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.